Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Hanagatami, a Japanese drama romance from 2017 that was directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi and was based on a 1937 novel. Now, apparently Obayashi himself promised the novelist that he would make a film based on it, and he wrote the script over 40 years ago, but just got around to actually making the film in recent years. Set in 1941, a pivotal time in Japan as the unstoppable momentum of war forcibly seized the lives of youth away to battlefields where they disappeared forever. The film celebrates the clamorous heart of youth and the indomitable will to live. 16-year-old Toshihiko leaves Amsterdam to attend school in Karatsu, a small town on the western coast of Japan, where his aunt Keiko cares for his ailing cousin Mina. Immersed in the seaside town's nature and culture, Toshihiko soon befriends the town's other extraordinary adolescents as they all contend with the war's inescapable gravitational pull. Now, the last Obayashi film I reviewed on this channel was Labyrinth of Cinema, which is in my Japan Cuts 2020 video, and I did not like that movie. After a while, it became noise, and it completely lost my interest. Hanagatami, on the other hand, is what I've come to expect from this director. It's a very good movie. Technically, he was not present during much of the production due to his cancer treatment, but the crew has worked with him for years. This is what I've read or heard. And they were following his remote direction, really. Every movie is kind of a collaborative team effort, but it seems like this one was even more so because the director was not on site for much of the production. There's actual craftsmanship in this film, and the filmmakers maintained their composure in terms of the direction, the editing, and pacing. The result is like a very fluid, engaging movie that never feels like it's assaulting the viewer. This is a stark contrast to Labyrinth of Cinema, which constantly pummeled me with its headache-inducing presentation for the full 3 hours. The editing in Hanagatami is more frequent than the average film, but it avoids being overly frenetic. And this is important because this runtime is almost 3 hours long. But in this case, it's a very enjoyable viewing experience, in my opinion. And it also helps that the character interaction is good. We have a small batch of main protagonists who we get to know. There's a nice mix of men and women here. Some of the men are concerned with being sent off to die in the war. One girl has a life-threatening illness. Another guy seems a little bit psychologically disturbed. Nice variety. These characters are distinctive, and they spend a lot of time together. Their interaction is the core of the film, and it's focused on them, which is good. The script shows how they develop their friendships and or romantic feelings with each other. It's well executed, and it has emotional resonance. Now, in recent years, we have seen some Japanese directors tackle the negative ramifications of war. For example, Shinya Tsukamoto has explored this theme in Fires on the Plain and Killing. I think some of this has been instigated by discussions in Japan to amend their constitution to resurrect their military force. That has not happened and may never happen, but it definitely inspired some filmmakers to create films that remind people of the consequences of war. And in some ways, Hanagatami does exactly that. It does not show war violence at all. In fact, the entire film really takes place in the seaside, peaceful seaside town. But it still shows how the war impacts our characters, and that's good. Specific references are made to real-life filmmaker Sadao Yamanaka, and if you saw my video on 10 Japanese movies from the 1920s and 1930s that you should watch, I included Humanity and Paper Balloons in my recommendations, and that film was directed by Yamanaka. Now, that director was drafted into the Japanese army and later died in Manchuria at a very young age. And that tragic real-life event is a representation of what Obayashi is going for in Hanagatami. This movie will definitely add value on repeat viewings. There were certain things, images, and references that were kind of subtle. Some things that I don't think I fully understood their importance while watching this film the first time. So I do look forward to watching this again, and I feel like I'm going to get even more out of it. during a repeat viewing, so that's good. Some of the acting is exaggerated, very theatrical, and all of the actors are too old to be teenagers. But in a film like this, it still works. You know, it's similar in some ways to a stage play, a fairly outlandish stage play, mostly due to its environment, so I'll get to in a minute. Now, only recently I realized that Mugi Katawaki has a significant supporting role in this film. I'm actually a big fan of hers. First time I saw her was in Love's Whirlpool, which was a very sultry sex comedy film. Every time I see her in a movie, she gives a solid performance. So in Hanagatami, her acting style is more grounded when compared to some of the other characters, but she helps to balance the film out in that way. I really liked her, and I look forward to seeing her in more stuff. But if I had to choose the most memorable aspect of Hanagatami, it would probably be the eye candy on display here. I mean, this movie is just kind of a visual joy with its colorful backdrops. Very beautiful to watch, and the editing is spaced out enough to where you can actually look and appreciate it. You know, it's not chopped up too much where the images are just flying in your face and you can't appreciate it. It sits on some of its beautiful shots, and it's very, very nicely captured. I would say there are a lot of artificial colors that are applied to this. You could tell they used a lot of green screen, which Obayashi likes to use, but they also filter in lots of deep blues, red, amber, purple, pink, very colorful film. And you also get a number of different environments too, like nature backdrops, like the wide sky shots at like dusk and dawn and stuff, you know, seaside ocean shots, forests, stuff like that. So it's really, you know, because of the artificial presentation, it's a little bit odd, but it's still a beautiful kind of odd. It's a unique and fun film to watch. And they're near the end of the film, they showcase a traditional Japanese festival that's specific to the town that they filmed in. And it's really cool because that festival's never really been shown in a movie before. So that's a really cool cultural highlight, and it looks fantastic. So Hanagatami is another very impressive film from Obayashi. Definitely worth seeking out. And it's currently available on Region B Blu-ray. That's the UK release from Third Window Films that includes, I think, like an hour of special features that are worth watching. So if you're going to buy it and you live in the United States, you got to make sure you either have an all-region Blu-ray player or a second Blu-ray player that has set to region code B. So just be aware of that. But yeah, check this one out. It's good Obayashi. And as always, we'll see you next time.